Peace. We back at it. It's another episode of the Overthinker. And we getting it in as we always do, as we always start our episodes with a moment of silence and also being thankful and just showing gratitude and just want to take the time out just to be thankful for the negative and the positive, being thankful for the opportunities, for the people that's in our corner, being thankful for the support around us, just being thankful for the haters, the doubters, people that don't believe, just being thankful for just everything. It's all. So we're just gonna start the show off with a moment of silence. All right, let's begin. So, as we see, the title for the day is Race and Ethnicity and the Law of Gender. Right? We chose this particular topic today based on last night's discussion podcast. And the reason why we're going into race is because first we got to realize what these words are. Then not only that, why certain words spelled the same way mean different things, and why are these constructs being implemented and applied into society as we see it, right? So what is race? Let's get into it. Remember, if you're new to the live, if you're new to the show, I'm getting all this information off Google. I go to the lies, cipher through the lies in order to find the truth, because truth is consistent, right? A lie is consistent as well, but a lie gonna slip up here and now and then. That's how we can have our conspiracies, have our truth, our fact checkers, and different things of that nature, right? So let's dive into it. All right, so we diving in Google concepts, and then we're gonna break down these Google concepts and get deeper into what Google has to say. All right. Now, we also going to be diving into the law of gender, which we're going to be diving into the Kabbalion, one of my favorite books, which is the universal laws and principles. Okay. All right. So it says race refers to the concept of dividing people into groups of the basis of various sets of physical characteristics in the process of ascribing social media to that group. Okay. Now, remember, all these words and definitions are creative constructs by people that look like you and me. All right. Now we got to remember that as we read it. Okay. Now, another definition is you go in, all right. Race is a constructed hierarchy, human grouping system. Okay. Now, if you know any history about race and different things of that nature, you understand, and can comprehend that this is a human construct, just like a lot of the things that go on in society, that they distract us with in society. These are constructs. They want us to what? Divide. They want us to have what? Division. They don't want us to see each other as 5 fingers on this hand, 5 fingers on this hand, eyes, nose. Yeah, my hair a little curlier. Yeah, your hair a little straighter. Yeah, your pigmentation might not be the same, but melanin is still flowing through you. Everybody trying to cause separation because everybody trying to have what? Grouping systems. Everybody trying to have what? Their own construct. It's not just the elites. We play in to the narrative. That's why we got to speak on race and ethnicity in the law of gender, because they put something into the narrative, into society, to change the narrative, to change however they see fit in order to achieve whatever agenda they trying to achieve. And then we as the people go along with the narrative because we like it, or it's going toward this sector of people more. So that's part of my clique. So I'm going with them and different things of that nature. Not understanding what this game is all about. Okay. Now, another thing with race is that race is literally that, a race, meaning that what you see from different races across North America, the nation, what are they doing? They racing. They're literally racing, trying to surpass each other in life, trying to get to this pedestal, but can't take none of it, can't take none of the stuff with them. Can't even take their own body with them when they go. People talking about reverse age and different things of that nature. No matter what race you're in, can't take it, can't take it with you. No matter what age you leave, you can't take it with you. Right? But we're racing against other races and to compete in this worldly narrative of who's the biggest and baddest nation, who's the biggest and baddest people, who's the chosen people, who are the Jesus and the Mohammeds and the Anunnakis, who they coming for. And let me tell you, like, one of the things that me and my brother have a discussion. We talk about if, like, you know, some people say they didn't contact the aliens. Okay, cool. But a lot of the things I see, man, and why I say we still in the reset is because if a higher being of higher intelligence, what they gonna come down here and do? Think about this. Like, let's really think about this from the movies and everything that we watch, from the real life that we live in every day, no matter if you white, black, Hispanic, Asian, African, call yourself American, Aboriginal, whatever you want to call yourself, ninth ether, right? That's going to be the next episode when we're going to go into this whole ether thing. But we got to start with the race, ethnicity before we get into the ethers and the genetics and all of these different things when people want to get it all in detail. Right? So when we talking about race, we talking about a construct. We talking about a class system. We talking about a grouping. That's all this is. So they know how many people are these people over here, how many of these people acting like this over here, that's all together, this, that, and the third. And then they use this to divide the people, the everyday people, the same people you got to go and work with, but they throwing race out here in your face. But you got to go work with these people. What? That's why we can't feed into the narrative of what they want to push. We was going into the other episode, we were talking about white lives matters. White lives matter. And when we sit back and think about it, right? You look at Ukraine and Russia. You look at people out here doing whatever, however you want to put it, because we was talking about black lives matters, white lives matters, all lives matters. Man, we live in matter. Everything is matter. What is we talking about? Y'all see how I just took that? Race, as in social grouping, race, as in foot race, matter, as in all lives matter, black lives matter, white lives matter, but everything is matter. You see the games they playing with us? That's why dissecting any language is beneficial. No matter if it's English, Spanish, Latin, French, Old English, New English, Dutch, German. No matter, because all of it has a basis in the English language and definitions that we speak to each other every day. But if we don't understand what the narrative is that they throwing to us and the wordplay that they using against us, then how can we combat as the people? How can you start a real revolution if you can't understand what the distraction is in the first place? It ain't just one group of people starting a revolution. No, it's a body of like-minded thinkers. That's why I say you don't even got to tell people you're starting a revolution or doing a revolution. No, just start thinking the same and just start implementing the things in society from the information that we learn. If we know race is a construct based on hierarchy, now all of a sudden when they talk about white supremacy this, race this, the Asian this, whoever over here, da-da-da-da-da, baze-baze-ba, we know that it's people what? Behind closed doors constructing these things to deliver it to us in this sort of fashion. So when we go out here in the world that we live in society that we live in, we have more division. We don't see eye to eye. So it's easier for them to implement and get to their agendas. We talking about people with agendas. Just like you and me, when we wake up in the morning to go achieve whatever it is we're trying to achieve for these 24 hours, for this day, for this week, for this month, for this year. Come on. Y'all started New Year's resolutions, right or wrong. Y'all started hitting the gym. Y'all started reading books. Y'all started writing more. Y'all starting to budget to achieve what? A certain agenda. Let's not play like what we want to perceive as people doing negative, like we ain't doing the same thing in a positive light. Anything that can be done negative can be done 10 times more in a positive light, because the negative can't exist without a positive. So once we change our thinking around and see what's being delivered to us, no matter what color, race, ethnicity that you come from, which we getting ready to dive into ethnicity, once you see the distraction that's across the plane, then you can combat it the right way. As the people, as the whole, as the all, as like-minded thinkers. Remember, everybody don't want the same thing. That's why you got to have a certain environment. That's why you got to build safe places. That's why you got to have communities, safe havens. These things don't exist just because people just want to throw these things out here. No, they exist for the people like you and me, to go build, to go create it for people like you and me. Because we know we have to set the foundation for the new society, for the new realm, for the new plane, if we want to reach singularity. Why? Because we will not be here. Meaning, if we do not implement what we want into society, if we do not apply what we want into society, somebody else will, right? But they won't do it how we gonna do it. Peace, peace, peace. I say, right? So we got to remember, when it comes to this race thing, it's a distraction. It's a social construct. It's a grouping. So remember, when they talking about white supremacy, this, black this, African American this, Asian this, Native American this, Native Hawaiian this, those are your 6 most common races over here in North America. Hispanics ain't even classified as a race. They just one big ethnicity. That's what I'm saying, man. These people just playing games to keep count so they can achieve agendas. That's it. All right, so let's get into ethnicity. Okay, ethnicity. Ethnicity describes the culture of the people in a given geographic region, including their language, heritage, religion, customs, and ancestry. Do you see the difference between race and ethnicity? We're talking about the body of land where you come from. We're talking about your heritage. We're talking about your consistencies and your disciplines that build the society that you in. I was just watching the TikTok, right? We talking about Africa. Like I was saying that people, we talk about, oh, we ain't African American, we over here from America, they from Africa, this, that, and the third, blase, blase, squaze, whatever. You know the people different based off what? They what? Language, heritage, religions, customs, ancestry, geographical location. That's their ethnicity. So no, we not the same. And it's okay. Just because we look alike don't mean that's what we is. We family. Everybody family, regardless if you want to run away from it or not. But what? Based on our consistencies and our disciplines, we build what? In the geographical location, in a region, we start to build languages, heritage, religions, customs, and ancestry. And this is what set us apart from the other person that looks like me and you. Because everything that I just mentioned right here has to do with what? Creativity, who we are, pure potentiality, infinite creativity at its essence. Before any race is applied, before any of that, we are what? Pure potentiality, infinite creativity. Then once you put pure potentiality and infinite creativity in a geographical location, in a geographical region, they start to develop language, heritage, religions, customs, and ancestry. Because it's creative to do so. We think the Bible is a holy construct. No, It's perceived as a holy construct. No, the Bible is a book about life in somebody's family, meaning that most people don't know that you can start your own family Bible and talk about the miracles that happen in your family and how the Most High delivered your family and write parables in your Bible and then pass it down your family tree. But we don't get taught this stuff. That's why in the Bible it go by generations. Generations, oh, generation on generation on generation. You get bored of reading the book, man. Where the good stuff at? Where the good stuff at? Where the good stuff at? Where all the stuff they're preaching about? These generations on, it's a family book. And we are here to do the same. But this is stuff they don't teach us, right? This is stuff that we lost our ways in because we went into race and not understanding that, oh no, it's really about ethnicity. That's why ethnicity is ethnicity. Ain't nothing else ethnicity. You want to talk about being ninth ether beings? Well, what does ether start with? ETH. What does ethnicity start with? ETH. You think that's a coincidence too? No. The language gonna speak to you, but you got to go to the information and you got to go and dissect that information, use discernment and be deliberate and be intentional with that information, then go out here in society and use it. It's all about laws and principles. So that's why tomorrow we're going to go into ninth ether. All right. That's going to be the topic. So if y'all want to stay tuned, y'all mark that on your side notes and just in your mental note and just say, okay, tomorrow we going in ninth ether. I see how he piggybacking now. Because we can't go into, okay, how we get the curly hair, how they get straight hair, ninth ether this, six ether, one ether, four ether, two ether. Well, where the concept even come from? Most people don't even know what an ether is. But we got to start with ethnicity first, though. Because ether is just as much a part of your ethnicity as ether itself. All right? So understanding who we are, pure potentiality, infinite creativity, now we can really understand how we get ethnicity. Let's get this race out of our mind. Once we get back to ethnicity, then we can accept people for who they are. I get why you like that. You live in the mountains. You only have certain options. I understand you now. So come down here and boom, boom, boom. Now you can see and live as your ancestors did at that time just by looking within yourself and understanding and accepting people once you understand what your ethnicity is, what your region is, what's your ancestry, what your true language is, what your true religion or spirituality is, because it's all based on the same thing. It's just a different region. It's just a different what? It's just a different geographical location. It's just a different area to create in. It's just a different canvas. That's all it is. I'm down here with the palm trees. Some people up there with pines. Other people out there with oaks. It's a different canvas. I'm on the beach. They're in the mountains. They're in the valley. They get to see the snow-topped mountain caps. I get to see the water. It's a difference. It's another level of creativity. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different perspective. It's a different altitude what we breathing on. Perception. Exactly. Okay? But the perception lies in ethnicity. Once we understand who we are, the perception changes. That's why that's so important. Once we know who we are, the perception changes. Because why? Why do we know once we know who we are, the perception changes? Because others are what? Playing against our consciousness to change our perception, meaning our imagination when we think about something. That's perception. How you perceive it, how you see it, third eye, mentally, before I move in it, right? Before I act upon it, before I speak on it, I perceive it first. I have a perspective first. Opinion, whatever word you want to use, right? So getting back into race and ethnicity, right before we go into this law of gender, right? We have to know the difference. We have to know the difference. which one is the distraction and which one is going to bring us back to what we want to get to, right? Which is going to keep us in the reset, which is going to bring us out of the reset to the singularity, right? The goal is not to keep talking about Atlantis to figure out if Atlantis is real. The goal is to build Atlantis. See, you see the different perception? The goal is not to get to heaven. The goal is to bring the heaven on earth so we know what it looked like before we get there. Ooh. If it's out there, knowing who you are changes the perception, changes how you perceive it. When you know you are pure potentiality and pure creativity, then you can see how you can bring heaven on earth. Then you can see, okay, now I can get to the singularity by accepting one another. Okay, cool. You have white supremacy. I understand that if white people are controlling things, they're going to favor their people. I understand if that's a black owned restaurant, it's mainly going to be black cooks in there getting down and black managers. If that's an Asian restaurant in Chinatown, I suspect the Asians to be there. No, I don't. It's natural. Bro, squirrels don't hang out with raccoons for a reason. But that don't mean they don't live in the same neighborhood. That don't mean they don't share the same food. That don't mean none of that. It's just you a raccoon, I'm a squirrel. Our perspectives on life is different. Our backgrounds is different. Our region is different. How we live is different. Our language is different. Our ancestry different. But we still animals. We still got fur, eyes, little teeth to eat the whatever we gonna eat. We intelligent enough to store food when we need to. I'm sorry to compare us to squirrels and raccoons, but sometimes we just got to get that basic because we don't watch the squirrels and raccoons. We too busy on our phones. But we can learn so much just from observation, right? So that's race and ethnicity, right? And getting to understand, comprehend the difference between the two and what we need to be attracted to, right? So we can start to be deliberate and intentional and have discernment out here, right? They say, but why are some ashamed of their last? They got fictional belief they a different race. I mean, you mean past, not last. Okay, why are people ashamed of their past? I mean, it ain't the fact that people are ashamed of their past. They're conditioned to be ashamed of their past based on the narrative that's been put in front of them. Everybody have a negative side of their past and a positive side of their past. Which side of their past that you like, right? But at the same time, you got to go do your shadow work and accept what? The negative side. So it's not being ashamed, it's how it's delivered. That's why ethnicity is so important. Because once you know who you are, you know how to handle the conditioning of your past. Because why? Because you know who you are. We were like, yeah, man, we went through this, we did this, we did blase, squaze, but this is who we are on the back end that they didn't show us, or blah, blah, blah. What's going on in the day and age we live in now? Right? With the access of information, people starting to understand, oh, okay, we might not be African American. We might be whatever over here or blase. They already saying Hispanic, that's Central America, South America. I'm trying to see why North America ain't the same. It's too cold or something? Say, but why since TikTok they want to erase a race to replace? I mean, it's not about race. That's what I'm saying. Long as we stay in the race concept, we will always be having questions. We will always have questions. If you get into ethnicity, there is no question. Because based on the geographical location in the region, you get what? Language, heritage, religion, customs, ancestry. Everything they try to cover up this with ethnicity, they put the race card right on top of that. And say, oh, okay, no, the race is like, no, it's a difference. That's why they say race. That's all it is. It's a state of confusion. Remember, a state is a mental state. When they say state, we got to remember the United States of America. That is a mental thing. Florida is different mentally than Georgia. That's why they got different slang in the urban community, in my community, right? Same thing with the what we call white people or Caucasian, right? Living in your state that you in, watching this, you are conditioned mentally. That is your state of mind. Your state of mind is Montana. Your state of mind is Georgia. Your state of mind is Florida. Your state of mind is Louisiana. Yeah, so at the end of the day, that's one thing that's we're gonna talk about tomorrow with the whole ninth ether thing and getting into everything being everything was we say black, but black ain't a race and black is a color, so it was something else, right? So that's why I say it was people that look like me and you. Like we can't really say that it was a color because it's not a color. That's why we got to get out the race. As long as we stay in race, see, the Vikings probably was some light-skinned dudes that look like me and you. Why? But when I say light skin, think of every single light-skinned person that you know. Right? And then when we say dark skin or darker complexion with however pigmentation, think of all of them that you know. How similar are they? How? How similar are they? What conditions can they withstand based on the region, geographical location that they in? We ain't got to think super hard about which body of people are being where and put, right? We ain't got to think super hard about that. And we don't got to sit here and say that everything was all of this. Like, because at the end of the day, that's not the world we live in. See, we got to take it in observation of the world that we live in. One of my philosophies is first, all I know is I know nothing, right? That's Socrates on his deathbed. My other philosophy is all I know is the world I live in. I don't know nothing outside of that. You can give me a history book with a black man in there that looked like he was the first one on the planet. At the end of the day, it's a person that looked like me and you wrote that book. It could be an Asian, a Hispanic, a white person, a black person, whoever wrote that book with this picture inside to say this is what this history is, to condition whoever to believe whatever type of. We can rewrite everything. Let me say this again. We can rewrite everything. So at the end of the day, whether you want to believe that everything started black, everything started this, everything started that, believe it. At the end of the day, what you going to do in society to implement the change that you want to see, if that is the case? TikTok, just an app. We on TikTok now having a discussion. The same thing is always going to present itself no matter what question we ask. What are we going to do with the information that we're receiving to implement in society to see the changes we want to see as the people? It's like the same person right now. You're not dropping knowledge right now. What knowledge is there to be dropped when you have access to all the information? What knowledge do I need to drop when you have access to the information, when I'm just giving you the information that you got access to in my perspective? The only knowledge that I can drop is to tell you, take the information that you're receiving from whoever you're receiving it from, get it and apply it to your life in real time and implement in society in real time to change who you are, to transform your mental. Because we basing on universal laws. We're not basing this on man. Man what? Changes. Man gets recycled. Man is here and going. You don't take your body with you. Do you take the knowledge with you? Because the knowledge is staying too, as far as I know. The knowledge been here. The knowledge was here before I got here. Just like everything else. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, that's me. Well, I was there. But that's what I do in the community. Right? Because it's like what you say, right, Jay? True. Where is it at in the high schools and middle schools? That's where I fall in. That's where we fall in place at. Not just I, not just me. Well, we. After school programs, you see the jersey. That's not my high school jersey. That's not my little league jersey. It's not my trophy. We got to get to the youth. I can't just tell y'all this as adults and we call it our ways out here on the oil, smoking, drinking, doing whatever it is that we doing, distracted, blah, blah. No. I come on here because it's what I'm led to do. It's what I'm given to do. It's my duty. Right? But it's also the duty to what? Take all this information that we receive in the night and then go and implement it in the community. That's why my players follow me on TikTok. That's why I speak to my sons the same way we talk right here. Right? Same way I speak to my players, coach girls and boys. It doesn't matter. All races, all walks of life. Right? So at the end of the day, it's just simple as that, man. It's on us as the people to build the society that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? And right now we have to implement the things, implement based off the creations that are here. Meaning, like you said about the app, right? If the app is here for us to communicate while it's free, let's take advantage of it. If you had to pay for it, it will be some people out here still paying for it. Because there's some people out here paying for whatever apps they getting. At the end of the day, we have to see what this is. Everybody, every being, right, on the planet is a being of pure potentiality. Whether you 1 ether to 9th ether, you are infinite creativity. Whether you was here 1,000,000 years ago or you were just here 6,000 years ago. Whatever history want to condition you with, you believe it however you believe it, sure. But at the end of the day, who you are at its essence is never changing. It never changes. It never changes. Why? Because it's universal law. It's universal law, meaning once before we was here, it was like that. When we gone, it's like that. Now, what can we say? So at the end of the day, all I can tell you is that you got your time and your space. And what you do with it is very important. So make your investment. That's by Dr. Joanne Robinson. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Right? Yeah, but that's everybody though, right? Everybody is right, everybody's wrong, everybody know it all, and everybody don't know nothing. Everybody broke, everybody rich. At the end of the day, my philosophy is all I know is I know nothing. So what can somebody tell me or say to me and be like, oh, you don't know nothing. Oh, appreciate you. I'm glad you see it how I see it. I appreciate the love, big dog. Appreciate you, sister. Salute you. I appreciate it. But that's how we got to see it, because we have to be accepting of one another. We can't continue to run away from one another, man. Look, man, look, I'm going to put it to you like this. People talking about race war, all of this. Listen to this, race war. What are we running to the finish line? Listen to this. Some of the people that they talking about don't even start nothing. So we just got to understand, man, and stop. I ain't going to say stop, but have discernment so we ain't out here getting distracted. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. So let's move on. The law of gender. Now, y'all probably seeing this in the chat was probably, oh man, I don't know where he finna go with this, right? Now, we not finna go too far. We going into universal law of gender. Okay, we gonna break some of this stuff down. All right, your whole woke movement, the rainbow, all of that, which ain't nothing wrong with none of that. We just gotta classify what it is. Let me say it again. Ain't nothing wrong with none of that. We gotta classify what it is. That's it. Once we start classifying things, understanding what things are, first off, before we even step into the law of gender, while we even talking about this, everything that you see in that community is pure creativity. I don't care if it's negative or positive. Yes, it's sexual, but don't, let me get into that. We'll get into that. All right, we'll get into that. Let me grab my book first because we got to understand what gender is, right? We understand what it is, but did we know that it's a law? It's a law. See, we think genetics is genetics. No, genetics is laws and principles. The elements and principles are the same thing. It can be vice versa. The elements are the principles that's upholding the world that we see, right? The matrix that we see. So let's get into it. All right. The principle of gender. Gender isn't everything. Everything has a masculine and a feminine principle. Gender manifests on all planes. All right. This principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything, the masculine and the feminine principle ever at work. This is true not only in the physical plane, but in the mental plane and even the spiritual plane. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it takes higher forms, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual is possible without this principle. An understanding of its law will throw light on many a subject that has perplexed the minds of men. The principle of gender works every in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains two elements or principles. Okay? Every person contains two elements or principles, or this great principle within it, him or her. Every male thing has the female element. Also, every female contains also the male element or principle. If you would understand the philosophy of the mental and spiritual creation, generation, and regeneration, you must understand and study the Hermetic principles. It contains the solution to many mysteries of life. Okay? So that's just gender. Okay, that's the principle of gender. Then we're gonna get into the mental gender or the mental gender. Okay, so as we see that the principle of gender and gender is on every plane, it's not just on this one. It's only physical on this one through sex, male and female. Now, what you want to proclaim yourself as is up to you based on your what? Pure potentiality and infinite creativity. But you cannot go against universal law. Right? You cannot go against universal law, and you have to accept that. Right? So we got to understand, what did you say now? Do you know the person that wrote that book? The Three Initiates, all right? The Three Initiates. No, I don't know. Who knows a lot of the people that writes the books, right? So we just using this information, right, to dissect what's going on out here. That's what this is about, right? Dissect and application. All right? So gender. There's a masculine and a feminine part to everyone. That's why when we see a community like the LGBTQ plus community, that's why it's like that. Because of gender. And then not only that, because of polarity, the law of polarity. I don't agree with everything that goes on in the community, but I understand it and I have to accept what they're doing. No, I ain't got to be okay with. Oh, you accept it as long as you. But that's your community. But I understand universal law, so when I see it, I understand it. I get it. More power to you. If it's about love, it's about love. Love is law. I can't argue with law. So at the end of the day, if I see something like that, I get it. Because at the end of the day, gender is on every plane. How we perceive, create through gender is on us, the body, the person that's living the experience. But understand this, that you can't go against universal law. Once you understand that, then a lot of the things you can accept. You can see people and be like, oh well, okay, I see what they're doing. No, I don't like it. Just don't. I accept what you're doing. Just don't put it in my what ethnicity. See, that's not part of my what religion. That's not part of my customs. That's not part of my ancestry, whether you know it to be or not. So these are the things that we got to start looking at and seeing like, okay, well, I see what they're doing, boo, boo, boo. That's why we got to implement the things. This is the biggest thing, right? And this is why we have to implement the things into society that we want to see. And this is the whole reason why I was going into the law of gender, is for this particular reason. One of the things, right, that you see with Disney and these other companies is that they losing a lot of money because of whatever woke program that they got going on. Whatever they got going on, and people ain't with it, right? The reason for this is because the reason for these things to be even implemented into society, and then to see people backlash, and some people don't backlash, however the case. The thing is, they are implemented into society. That's why we have to implement it what we want to see into society. It's just you have to combat energy with energy. It's a reflective force. It's a reflective flow. You can't sit back and complain and think that's enough energy, or you sitting back and watching your leaders talk about it and they ain't even doing nothing about it. And when I say leaders, y'all know who I'm talking about. You got Dr. Umar, you got RZA, you got who else you want to put out there in whatever community or black community that you want to say, right? Even white communities and stuff, they leaders giving them bullshit. But we got to see this stuff though. So, but if we don't understand laws and principles, and so when we see it, we can accept it, we can understand it, but then we know how to implement things in society to combat. That's all it is. Everybody don't agree with everything, but everybody can accept everybody for who they are. That's the problem with and then I ain't gonna go into no more other stuff about that. Okay. And the reason being is I don't want to get banned on TikTok in the sense of just going too deep with certain things. All right. I apologize to the unbound and the most high for putting something on my spirit to say, but I ain't gonna be able to say it. All right. So let's get into mental gender. All right. Mental gender. All right. Mental gender is stating that how we have the logical side of it and we have the creative side of it. See, they want you to think that it's all is logical and creative. Logic is creative. Logic is creative. It's structured creativity. Structured creativity. So it's structured creativity. The reason why I say logic is structured creativity is because it puts a a structure is what we see the body is. This body is a structure, right? The building, the house of men is a structure, right? Even though it's creative, right? It was still created in a structured form. Okay, so that is what logic is. You can't run away from creativity. We put our titles on it for us to understand it. Okay. So when we talking about mental gender, right? We talking about the creative, left hemisphere of the brain, right hemisphere of the brain, logical and creative. Okay. So let's read real quick. All right. Let me find my spot where I was at. All right. Here we go. This idea of mental gender may be explained in few words to students who are familiar with the modern theories just alluded to. The masculine principle of mind corresponds to the so-called objective mind. Okay? The conscious mind, voluntary mind, active mind, etc. And the feminine principle of mind corresponds to the so-called subjective mind, subconscious mind, involuntary mind, passive mind, etc. Of course, the Hermetic teachings do not agree with the many modern theories regarding the nature of these two phases of mind, nor does it omit many of the facts claimed for the two respective as aspects, some of the said theories and claims being very far-fetched and incapable of standing the test of experiment and demonstration. This is why I deal in theory. All right. We point to the phase of agreement, merely for purpose of helping the student to assimilate his previous acquired knowledge with the teachings of Hermetic philosophy. All right. So not to get too far into that reading, do y'all see the difference between the masculine and the female mind, the logical and the creative? It's just another word for it. Okay? Just another title. One is a subjective mind, your subconscious, involuntary, passive, right? Then you have the what? The conscious, active, right? The voluntary, right? So we got to realize what these things are. Everything lies in the mental plane on a duality standpoint. See, we'll get into that. We'll get into that on another. Oh, we'll go into that with ninth ether. We're going to that on ninth ether and understanding duality. That's very important. All right. Now, let me find. It was another spot where part right here. While at first seems to be the only in I existing, a more careful and closer examination reveals the fact that their existence in I and a me. See, once we start breaking down the mental gender, oh man, you say I am, but what about the me? There's no I in team, but there's a me. Right? Let's keep reading. These mental twins differ in their characteristics and nature, and an examination of their nature and phenomena arising from the same will throw much light upon many of the problems of mental influence. All right? Peace, peace, peace. All right? Let us begin with consideration of the me, which is usually mistaken for the I by the student until he or she presses the inquiry a little further back into the recesses of consciousness. See, when we dealing with hermetic, see, a lot of people want to say whatever, whatever, whatever about whatever, whatever, whatever. And when I say it like that is because you're gonna say people over here in the Christian segment wrong. You're gonna people over here Islam's wrong, the Scientologists wrong, the Satanists wrong, the spiritual people over there they dead wrong, the Hindu people, the Hermetic. All of it got to do with this. And listen, take the information, negative or positive, and do as you please. Your truth is your truth. All right. And one of the reasons why I like the Hermetics is because it's based on basic nature observation, meaning you can go out and meditate and find these universal laws through yourself without even reading the book, through straight observation. But you got to be willing to do it. That's why I like this. Right? So that's just me personally. So let's continue. Okay. So where were we? Back into the recesses of consciousness, looking within, meditation, right? A man thinks of himself thinks of himself, an aspect of me, as being composed of certain feelings, tastes, likes, dislikes, habits, right? Peculiarities, characteristics, etc., all of which go to make up his or her personality or the self known to himself or herself and others. He or she knows that these emotions and feelings change, are born and die away, are subject to the principle of rhythm and the principle of polarity, which take him from one extreme of feeling to another. He or she also thinks of me as being certain knowledge gathered together in his mind, thus forming a part of himself. This is the me of a man. See, the me, see, that's what I'm saying. The mental gender, once you start understanding who you are, first off, understanding who you are, per potentiality, per creativity. Once you understand that, then you can see why the laws work this way. If see me, when I read this, I see creativity. I see creativity, peace, love, and life, peace, love, and life. I see creativity. Look at this, right? The me. What is the me? The taste, the dislikes, the habits, the peculiarities, the characteristics, the personality, or the self known to himself or herself and others, right? That's how you creating yourself. Oh, this is me. I'm him. I'm her, right? This is all done mentally based on the programming, outside programming in the environment that we in. Because the environment is also creative, right? It's created by creative beings that look like me and you, right? It says what? It says also, excuse me. He also thinks of the me as being certain knowledge gathered together in his mind, thus forming a part of himself. This is the me of man. All right. So it's also information, knowledge gathered. That's why when people come at me and be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the third. Well, my philosophy is all I know nothing. Boom. That's me. That's my philosophy. Vowels can be interchanged. E and Y. Me. My. So at the end of the day, that's the creative part of how we build our personality. It's the me. It's a difference, right? So talking about the me, now let's go into the I real quick. Let me see where I can find that. All right, right here. After this laying aside process has been performed, the student will find himself in the conscious possession of self, which may consider in its I and me dual aspect. The me will be felt to be something mental in which thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings, and other mental states may be produced. It may be considered as the mental womb. Okay, as the ancients styled it, capable of generating mental offspring. It reports to the consciousness as me with latent powers of creation and generation of mental I don't even know that word, excuse me, y'all. Progeny, I hope I said that right. Progeny of all sorts and kinds. Its powers of creative energy are felt to be enormous, but still it seems to be conscious that it must receive some form of energy from either its eye companion or else or from somewhere other than I, or it is able to bring into its mental creation. This consciousness brings with a realization of an enormous capacity for mental work and creative ability. Woo! I said a mouthful on that. And I hope y'all got it because I ain't reading it again. All right. So what that's saying, what's that saying right there? What is that saying? It's saying the I is the source of the me. It's saying that what? Or if I ain't the source, it's what? Or from some other I, is able to bring into being its mental creations. This consciousness brings with its realization of an enormous capacity for mental work and creative ability. Okay? So the I is the source of the me. So when we say, okay, I am successful, I am a great leader, or I am a millionaire, whatever you want to proclaim, right? I'm a great student, whatever. You have to build the me in order to achieve what the I see. Let me say it again. The I is the source. I am. I am. But then you got the me. The me is the person that got to go through it. The person that I build, my body, how I build to go through the journey, what we call life. In the mental first. In the mental first. Because it's knowledge gathered in the mental state. We still in me and I in mental planes. That's why they say it's a way that you say it. Oh, I did this, right? Oh, me did this. Oh, that don't sound right, do it? Because it's a stronger saying when it's coming from source. But the me has to go through the process that source wants it to go through in order to achieve the goal that source wanted to achieve. But it's all you. Me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. Old school song. They don't even make music like that no more. I don't even remember who it was by. Who is that? Dang, man. It was on the NCAA game back in the day. NCAA 2013, 12, 11, one of them, 14, one of them. And it was me, myself, and I. Take De La Cruz. De La Cruz. There you go. Me, myself, and I. It's a reason for that. All right. De La Soul. Thank you. De La Soul. Right? Me, myself, and I. Because there's a difference in each one of those sayings. I is the source. The I is, that's what you're looking. Oh, third eye, your eyes is, but what the eyes is what getting you there. The third eye sees what the eyes is the observation. But what got the legs, the arms, the tools, the other tools of your body got to what go through the process to help you get there. The eyes is to help you see. So if we take it from the mental plane, bring it to the physical, you got your eyes mentally, you got your eyes physically to help you see where you're going. Everything else to help you get through that process. It's the me, it's the characteristics, it's the physical structure that you build your body on, the foods you eat, right? Your habits, your disciplines, your consistencies. Me, 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 me. You had a dream, Gladys? I ain't had a dream in a while. I've been doing a lot of studying and I daydream, but other than that. So as we get ready to wrap it up here, I want us to remember that just leaving off of gender and mental gender. More importantly, that's where I really wanted to get into it, was the mental gender aspect of things. Understanding the I and the me. Because once we say I, right? I is the source. We say, okay, I'm going to do this. I am this, right? That's the result we're looking for. Now, the me is the person in the now. The me is the present person that is saying, I want to be, or I am this. Meaning that we're trying to speak affirmations. We all have these, right? So if we're trying to speak this, I am this, that, and the third, but me still got to get through it, then we got to start spending some time with me. That's what silence coming factor is at, right? Meditation, being mindful, right? Because I always gonna be giving you the ideas to see the creative part of the creative part of who we are, the potentiality, the infinite creativity. We never stop creating. That's why we have so many ideas. That's why we want to be a part of so many of this. We want to belong to this, that, and the third, become this, become that. It's because of who we are creatively. Not just as in it just happened by chance. It's a Big Bang theory. survival of the fittest of evolution. Obviously, it's not survival of the fittest because some of the fittest people to survive be the first ones knocked off. So we got to step back and really see what's going on here and really take things back into our own hands. Like I tell everybody, take all the information that you received tonight and go do your own research and homework, please. Because once we do that, now you can actually see, okay, I see what he, okay, boom. Oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. Well, that was wrong. He was wrong on that. But you'll never know if you don't go out here and do it. That's why I tell anybody, fact check what I'm saying, not even fact check, just go do your own research, find your own theories, find your own questions, find your own studies, find your own experiments, observe the world from your perspective, right? And I'm here to help push you to do that, right? Because we are transformers. See, we think they made the movie about robots and who they was talking about was us. We are the transformers. It's a be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. They was not talking about robots from Cybertron. They looking for the cube. The cube is you. Is in you, I should say. Oh, the so powerful cube. They talking about us in everything, in every aspect, because everything and everything that they can show us or distract us with has to do with the life that we live. It has to do with us. It has to do with the power, the value that really runs the planet. And that's the people that look like you and me. Regardless if they rich, poor, middle class, subclass, homeless, it don't matter. Everybody don't want to be the same thing. Everybody don't want to be million, billion, trillion, thousand. They're homeless. Everybody don't want the same thing. So we have to understand that everybody can coexist, live in the world that we in. That's why one of the reasons why we went on race and ethnicity tonight. So when we leave in here tonight, we can know the difference between, okay, race, the distraction part of what they put on top of ethnicity, who we really are, who we truly are, what we got to start going back into so we can accept one another no matter how we look, as in uh, uh, a proclaimed skin color, whatever that is. If they ain't got no crayon that's my color yet, ain't seen it. Now that makeup, you know, the ladies doing their thing with the makeup, you know, whatever, but still, they rub it off. I can tell the difference. Right? There's gonna be a lot of nation building, Miss Gladys. Excuse me. A lot of nation building, Miss Gladys. So we just have to we have to go back, right? If you haven't seen those first episodes, please go back and see those first episodes, right? Because it goes into who we are. That first episode, we're going in the law of potentiality. Understand who we are. We dive into the energy codes, the white book right there, right? How we are energy beings. But if we don't realize, okay, we don't take this body with us, that we create another one, or wherever we go into another universe that's mind and universe entering into itself. We don't know, right? All we know is the existence that we live in based on the experience, right? Everybody got whatever they want to say, call on whoever, have on whoever. At the end of the day, everybody, no matter what religion, spiritual background you from, no matter what ethnicity you from, what so-called race you want to proclaim, at the end of the day, at some point in time, you must transcend and leave everything behind, even your body, right? Your body, every organ, the brain cells, all of that, it stays. So what really leaves? So we have to start asking ourselves, what are we truly doing, and what are we truly trying to leave behind from the information that we're learning on how to implement it into society? Because if we're learning about Egypt being in America, or learning that America's whatever over here and Africa's there, there's difference, in Asia and all of this, what are we going to do with it? right? There's some people calling out there to start schools. Yeah, so we can get back into implementing certain histories and certain things. There's some people calling out there to start museums. Yeah, start museums in your hood, in your community, wherever you at. Some of y'all need to start after school programs to teach this knowledge, right? Because it's a coexistence. It's a union, right? That's why it's called universe, because it's a union. So we have to remember that if if we have a mortality in the experience that we're in, listen to what I just said. In the experience that we're in, a mortality, meaning a cap, a capacity on what we can experience here. Because this is what this life is for. It's for experience. And then from the experience is through creativity. So while we're creating, we have to go out here and experience creating in society what we want to see, build the world, change. It's not about changing the world or building the world, different things. You got to leave your fingerprint on where you want to leave your fingerprint at. And if everybody leaving their fingerprints, right, then we can start to see what everybody has to offer in the world, right? Everybody ain't designed to be an entrepreneur. Everybody not designed to work a 9 to 5. Everybody's not designed to be a millionaire, the billionaire, whatever the case. But at the end of the day, you are designed and chosen for something. But you have to go and live life, meaning and understanding that purpose is built into life. So when you live life, meaning have motion, be moving here in life, you're fulfilling purpose. You're fulfilling purpose. So as we end for tonight, man, I appreciate y'all. It's an honor, always, always, always. It's an honor. If y'all want to know, the book we was coming out tonight was The Kabbalion, written by the Three Initiates. One of my favorite books. Tomorrow night we will be going into Ninth Ether. Okay, and I also believe I said something else. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure to come back to me. So we're gonna be going into Ninth Ether tomorrow night and breaking down this whole ether thing, because we went into ethnicity, right? Ether and ethnicity start with ETH. Exactly. We are the change. All right. We are the change. Okay. Ethnicity and ether. ETH. So we're going to see why, right? We keep calling to be saying ninth ether. Why ether is so important in the first place. What is ether? Right? What is this concept of this thing, right? And breaking it down and seeing how we can use ether to do whatever it is that we need to do, right? And then we're gonna throw a law in there as well. So, so I appreciate y'all, man. It's an honor, always, always, always. If y'all enjoyed it, if y'all took notes, if y'all need to catch those other episodes, on my YouTube, up to channel 8 right now. 9 will be out tomorrow, and then 10 will be out the next day. So they kind of lag on YouTube. So if you actually want to be up to date with everything, I'm starting to put the event on live. Y'all register for the event or just keep it in your notes and just know, okay, 11 o'clock, my man's going on. Let me see what he's talking about. See if it's anything interesting. Like I always say, man, go, if y'all listen to me, I want you, please go out here and do your own due diligence in the studying. Do your own due diligence in these readings, because the access to information is too easy now. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's we can't just keep listening to the guys on YouTube on live that sound like they know what they talking about because they talking so aggressive, or they sound sweet, or they sound flattering and all this stuff, but we ain't back checking. Right? We ain't doing no due diligence. Not on them as a person. Forget them as a person. What is you feeding me? What are you feeding me mentally and spiritually? What are you trying to give me that can fill me up? Let me make sure what I'm consuming is healthy. That's why I tell people this, and tell people to go, do your own research and do your own due diligence, because it matters. Because once you get your perspective on things, you can really use discernment how you want to, and then be deliberate and intentional how you want to into society. All right. So we will end it on that note. Peace, love, and life. I appreciate y'all. It's always an honor. I'll see y'all in the next video.